Hey everyone. Can everyone hear me?
Yep.
Okay, good. There might be some people coming a little later because we did switch the time to 5 o'clock Mountain Time from 5:30 before. But is Erik on his way?
Yep.
Okay. I'm just gonna post it in DojoEarth as well. How did you guys get the invite? Did you just see it on the Facebook group?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, I sent out like emails through the DojoEarth.org, but I'm not sure that they got to everyone.
I got those, and then I just came back to
Oh, you
Dojo.
did? Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I came through Dojo Earth because I couldn't find. I always use the numbers and not the link,
Right.
and so I came back in.
Okay, great. Thanks for that info, Elizabeth. Hey, Alex.
Hi, Michael. Hi,
How
everyone.
you doing?
Doing good, thanks. How are you?
Good, man. Good.
Nice
Can
to
you
see
guys hear me good?
Sounds good.
Can anybody hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah,
can hear you. Can you hear us?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, I'm
Oh,
just
you do
checking
have
my
that delay.
audio. Working this new computer, trying to figure out this presentation. I had some visuals that I needed to throw together, and I feel like I haven't had time to breathe today.
I know you feel like I had a crazy busy day too.
Same here. I like just got here in time. Yeah.
Hi, Andrea. Hi, Adam.
Hey man, how you doing?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm all good, thank you, my brother. It's late over here, isn't it?
That's it, late night for you.
Doing an all-nighter, let's go.
I was on with Silver, I think 4 hours last night. We said, oh, we'll just chat for half an hour after Erik and Michael went. And then we were talking till, I think, almost 2 in the morning.
Beautiful
or 1 in the
stuff,
morning,
man.
I think.
Soul Tribe, man, that's what it is. It's
Yeah,
just flows,
we did. We
doesn't
really
it?
connected. It was the first time I talked with Sean properly.
Yeah, we need to do a little UK tribe.
Yeah, there's quite a few of us in the UK now. Just trying to sort my audio as well. It's quite quiet here.
Hey, Michael, can you make me a co-host so that I'm able to share my
Oh,
screen?
absolutely.
Thanks.
I might just have to make you the host.
Whatever works.
Let me do that. Yeah.
You should also be able to just go beside his name, no, and make him co-host.
No, I don't think there's a co-host option. This is my Zoom, and it's
Okay.
you
Okay.
need to pay extra to have an extra host. It's kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just gonna try to make you co-host, but there's no option for it.
No, yeah, only one host. That's fine. I actually Yeah, you're gonna have to share screen, so you know what? And when it gets to raising hands, I can see them and as well. So I could just go through them.
Let me test this out real fast.
Mm-hmm.
I want to test the share screen.
Alt S.
Okay, just a minute. There's 19 people. Hi, sweetie pie.
Hello, hello.
How was your day?
Yeah, good, hectic and cold.
I know I'm trying to bake bread, make scalloped potatoes, a pork roast, dye my hair, have a shower.
It was minus 30, minus 41 with
49.
wind chill.
Oh, was
Wow.
it?
But that's, what is that Fahrenheit? I don't know. Damn cold.
I think it was colder than that this morning, sweetheart. Mitchell's making my bread right now for me. It's cooking class.
What are you making us?
It's
I'm
a-
making some sourdough gluten-free bread.
Oh, very good. I can't eat regular bread. Gluten-free is awesome.
Oh, and it's sourdough. So I grew the yeast from, it's wild yeast. So I grew it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty special.
Lorna, did you use that teff flour? TEF?
No, so basically I grow the wild yeast from brown rice flour and sweet rice flour.
Mhm.
And then it takes me about 2 weeks to grow it. And then once it's growing, then I can put it in the fridge and then take it out, feed it, put it back in. And yeah, and then I just used, oh, my recipe's right here. So butter, eggs, milk, honey, sorghum flour, brown rice flour, tapioca, potato starch, xanthan gum, baking powder, and salt. Ba-boom.
Hey, Eric, did you figure that out? Did you hit Alt S?
Yeah, but it's gonna have to quit and reopen. I had to change my settings on my computer.
Okay. You're gonna have to quit and reopen?
Yeah, so of course. So it wants me to quit for everybody.
Just
Fine.
hand over host to me and then you can go in and out. That'll be more up near my name.
Yep. All right. There we go.
Cool.
And yeah, let me
If you want, you can send me the images and I can share as well. All right. He's off. He'll be back. But welcome, everyone. Sorry about the little mishap. We're all a bit rushed here. I got here maybe like 5 minutes ago, just right out of work. So, and then I know Eric's the same. But we do have a new, I guess, organizer / moderator of Esoteric Journeys, and that is Alex here, Malefluence. Say hi, Alex, and
Hi, everyone.
I'm sure everyone's familiar with you.
Thank you.
But Esoteric Journeys is going to be an amalgamation of kind of concepts that we touched on last time, and now we're adding the artistic side of this because it ties in so well. We were going to do another show on art and artistic nature of reality and changing your reality through art, but we figured these two fit really well together. So, and one of our goals here will be to create a group art project. So just keep that in mind. And but for the first 45 minutes here of today, we're going to have Erik kind of discuss his art and some of the esoteric nature of it and some of his discoveries through that process. So Erik, do you want to I'm gonna give you host here, and you can try that again, or you can send me those images, and I can share them when you speak of them. But first, I will
Okay.
give you host. Give that a shot.
Okay. And you're recording?
It's recording. Yeah, I made it so that it records automatically.
Okay. So when I hit screen share, okay, I see.
You just
Got it.
choose the choose
Yeah.
the screen.
Okay. So I guess what I'm going to talk about tonight is something that I've recently gotten into. It's blackout poetry. I don't know if any of you or many of you are familiar with that. But I'm going to be going over that tonight. The reason I'm presenting this is because I tried these different exercises. I call them imagination exercises. It's things that I like to do to spark my creativity and my imagination. And because I find that when my imagination is primed and I'm in that creative state of mind, synchronicities seem to happen more frequently and they're a lot more meaningful. And so there's a lot of different things that I do to try to generate synchronicities. And something that I just recently started doing, this blackout poetry stuff, not only was it something that started to spark my creativity again, get my imagination going, but I found it actually therapeutic in a way, like doing inner alchemy. And I'm going to talk about that through the presentation. I got a couple slides. There's not too many. But really, this is a good way to sort of experiment with this inner alchemy work. And part of the process is sort of getting your mind in a place where you're not constantly asserting your will onto situations, right? You're kind of letting your unconscious just flow through into your consciousness. And there's a lot of ways to do this, but one thing that's really key is introducing randomness into the process. So, traveling is important, right? That's something that can always generate synchronicities for people. But like when you're traveling or when you're going anywhere, it doesn't have to be far away. It can be local. There's this mindset that we're in when we're traveling or doing anything, that we're always deciding what to do next, where to go. We're making these conscious choices. And so there's little ways that you can just insert some randomness into those decisions to kind of have mystical experiences, if you will, or synchronicities that will happen when you do this. So one thing I like to do is I have two very similar stones of different color, and you can do white and black. You can do, two different colors. They should probably be about the same feel and the same weight so that you can't really tell which one you're holding. And if you put them in your pocket, right, when a decision needs to be made and you're coming up on something like deciding what exit to take, or what, it could be any kind of decision, you assign one option to one rock and one option to another one, and then you just randomly pick something, right? You can do this with anything. It doesn't have to be rocks. But this generates some randomness and magic into the experience by removing yourself one step consciously from, putting your will upon that decision. And this can generate all kinds of things. I mean, sometimes when we're too in our head, right, and making decisions, we don't really notice the things around us. We don't pay attention. And this exercise, you're consciously wanting to pay attention to things and kind of be along for the ride, where you're not necessarily driving the whole experience, right? You're letting the experience happen to you. And so as I was messing around doing this blackout poetry, I started to get that sense that I was out of my head. And like the words that were coming to me on the page that were jumping out at me were just a reflection of things that were going on internally inside of me, right? And so all day long or all week long, I take all of these things into my mind. I have certain experiences throughout the week. I'm in a certain mindset at the time, certain music I've been listening to or things I've watched on TV. They're all coming into me. And as I'm like looking over this page of words, I'm not trying to read the page. It's not like an exercise in reading. I'm just letting my eyes kind of scan the lines, and I'm looking for words that just jump out at me, right? I just feel like a connection to the word for whatever reason I'm in that mindset. And so I'll just start to underline these things. And I've noticed that when I'm doing this, something starts to happen. You begin to see a connection between the words you're choosing and a story, right? An image starts to form in your mind. And that image then begins informing the words that you're going to finally choose, right? And what the story is. So you're creating the story, but the story is also being created in front of you.
Hey, Erik,
so-
could you share maybe a screen share of one of the pieces so I can have
Yeah.
an idea of what it looks like? I just remember you showing me, and it was helpful in your way of explaining it. It was ended up being really cool to see how it turned out.
All right, hang on. All right, can everybody see my screen?
Yeah, I see it. It's awesome.
Okay. So
Erik, sorry, could I just ask something
Yeah.
quickly? When you just shared your screen, an image popped up, and I think it was Venetian snares. Am I right or am I wrong?
No, it was the end of the slide.
Oh, okay. Sorry for interrupting. I thought it was some kind of synchronicity there of something I recognized.
Maybe. Well, we'll get to it, and we'll see. So, so I'm starting out, right, and I open up to a page. Sometimes I go through several pages, and the words that I'm seeing just aren't doing anything for me, and so I'll just go to the next page. And finally, I get to a page where I start to see words that jump out at me. And so this particular book, we picked up at one of those like book exchanges, those little boxes, you leave a book, take a book. This happens to be Vert by some guy. Let's see, Jeff Noon. It's kind of a crazy book. And so this is actually challenging because I want to use all of what he's writing. His writing is just really awesome. And so it made it difficult for me to just focus on certain words. But, I'm not trying to read the book itself. Like I said, I'm just going through and I'm looking for the words that jump out at me. And as I do that, I underline them in pencil, just very lightly. And, this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense here, but, there's other words around these words. And as I'm reading these things, right, I start to get mental images, mechanisms, something mechanical, right, machine-like, fellow travelers, interesting expression, aliens, snakes, and death, all worlds, balance, a door, let's see, innocence, secrets. These words begin to remind you of things and images begin to form in your mind. And you can almost start to see the story of the poem that it's unfolding before you, right? You're making the choices, but the words are like calling to you somehow. And the more you let yourself flow with that, right, the more you let the words speak to you, and you let it's like a permeable process, right? Something's interacting with you in a sense. or it's your unconscious that's trying to interact with you externally through these words. And I always find that when I'm done, when I finally pick these words out and, I bold them out and I have the poem, I read it to myself a couple times because it really cements that image that I have in my head. And I start to notice, a lot of the things that I'm thinking of, the themes are things that I've been experiencing throughout my week, or, however long of a period of time. So those are synchronicities immediately, right? Like I start to see these things, and this whole process actually made me kind of look at synchronicities in a slightly different way, where when you experience a synchronicity, I feel like it's just confirmation that we create our reality with our thoughts. So you're seeing something and you recognize it as a synchronicity because it's important. It's something that had previously happened, or it connects to something, but you generated that synchronicity. And the synchronicity happening is just confirmation that you actually create your reality, the world around you. And this exercise is actually just showed me that truth. It opened my eyes to that. And so doing this, I've really gotten into this because it gets me in that mindset of interacting with something, interacting with myself outside of myself in this crazy way. And the artwork that comes from this, these images in my head, after I get all of these words bolded and everything, I want to liven up the page with an expression of the image that these words brought to my mind. And so I begin to kind of sketch something out on a piece of paper that I think would be good. I don't do it initially on here, right? Because I don't want to have to erase too much. But once I get the idea down and the image in my mind is pretty well formed and solid, then I'll begin to sketch it out onto the page. And I will just show you. Here are two, the first two that I actually did this past week. I was just flipping through. This is actually from a different book, but as I'm making this, the one with the snake, I was definitely in this state of mind where, I'm thinking of all of these lofty, metaphysical type of things. And that's just really reflected in the words that I ended up finally choosing. I went alone into mystic ceremonies of ascension before I was born, with tear-filled eyes, a burning spirit of loneliness, my future fate. And for some reason, I just had this image of like this cosmic snake just floating through space. And the colors, I just wanted to pick some like really bright, vibrant colors to go on this deep blue background with stars. And immediately after coming up with this and coloring this in, and so the process too is it's about the sketching and the coloring and the choosing of the image. All of this is interactive. And when I was done with it, my wife had been doing the same thing in a different book. And she shows me this line that she had picked out, and it was dream snakes. And so just immediately after doing this, I was like, wow, that's pretty unique. That's pretty significant. I looked at it as a synchronicity, and that, just the act of me doing this, creating this, right? So I took somebody else's art, I took somebody else's writing, and then I made something else with it, right? And so I used somebody else's creation to create something, and hopefully this will also inspire somebody to create something else. And another thing that this process really made me realize was that, our reality is the shared reality that we have. It's like this tapestry that we're all adding our own creation to. And everyone else's creation is also being taken in by us, and in turn affecting our creation that we put back out. And so there's this interconnectedness with all of us, with everything that we do. This is the way that we're connected, is it's that we're all affected and internalizing each other's creation, and in turn creating something else from it. And it's just this beautiful thing, and it paints this amazing tapestry of the reality that we all share. And part of this exercise, you know, is to create something, right? You're taking all of these bits of you, all of these experiences and other people's creations that you've been witnessing, and you've been internalizing those things, and they're deep down in there. And this is a process to bring all of that back out, but in a more polished and creative way. And I don't know, I just think it's a beautiful thing. And the more I do this, you know, the more my mind thinks of, you know, stories and things I want to do artistically, and the writing that I want to start doing. It's really like inspired me to get more creative and do more of my own artwork and of my own content. You know, I spent so much time looking at other people's stuff, watching videos, and, you know, being online. And I learned a lot, but I always, in the back of my mind, I wanted to get back to doing my own creative stuff. And this has really helped me to do that. And this is something, you know, for people with kids. We've been sitting down with my 4-year-old and trying to do this with him. His artwork's not the greatest, but he loves the process, and he has so much fun just being creative with us. It's a really good opportunity to spend time with your kids and do something that's not on a screen. And it's really interactive with them. And, you know, you can teach them how to do this stuff, even at a young age. We let my son circle some words and just see what comes out of him. It's always pretty interesting. And the stuff that comes out of his mouth sometimes just blows my mind. But, you know, so this whole thing has really sort of, I feel like I've tapped into something inside of myself that's been really, really dormant, and maybe something that hasn't even been out before. And it's not too time consuming. I mean, you can do this. I did both of these in the same day. So it does take a little time, but you can put it down and come back to it. You know, I think the big thing is just getting the words that you want, right? Once you get that, then you can just let those words simmer and really let the images and ideas come to you. Because I've changed some of these ideas as well. Like, this was not initially what I wanted, but this creature, you know, it's like he just came out of my mind. And
Erik, can you read that for us?
If I can move this. Yeah, okay. Half naked, frightened, sunburned, chained together in irons, slaves, holding a silver coin with devilish pride. Sinners and sinister Saracens perform satanic ceremonies, arms flailing, joyful infidels exclaiming praise.
Cool.
And when I did this, I was definitely in a very dark mindset, not in a bad way, just thinking about a lot of baggage, you know, all the kind of stuff that we would bring up in dojo, you know, that sometimes it can sit with you and weigh on you. And so as I'm looking at these words, I immediately, like, I start seeing this idea of being a slave or chained to something, right? And almost in pain and tortured. But then it opens up, you know, there's this silver coin, and it seems like, you know, these people they have this devilish pride about this coin, and then it starts getting really dark, right? But to me, I don't know, it was just like a lot of this stuff was coming out, and when I finished with it, I felt a lot lighter. I can look at this image and I couldn't really tell you exactly what it was that was going through my mind, but after finishing it, I felt like a lot of that stuff that had been on my mind and weighing on me was gone, and I felt a lot lighter. So it's like I took it all and I put it onto this page. And
could I jump in, Erik?
Yeah, go ahead.
They're really amazing, and it's resonated a lot with things I've been doing and doing in a slightly different way. And talking with Sean last night, he had that mind map, and it instantly reminded me of what he was doing. And then I've noticed when you said you were kind of attracted to music like that, I'd also kind of entered that state recently where I just got hyper creative, and I was making music, doing artwork, making perfume, and getting into that flow state and trying to kind of pin myself in that state. And I think I've been doing that all my life. I used to do dream journals. So I kind of trained myself to wake up from dreams and write them down and go back to sleep. And I did it for quite a while. And then I got out of that. But I think it helped forge that bond between whether it's your conscious and subconscious or other parts of you. But one thing was a book I encountered called The Dice Man. I forget the guy who wrote it, but he had that same concept of, he started to roll the dice for every decision he would make. And it started off simple and got more complex over time. So his whole life became completely random. And that's a nice kind of tie-in with what you're saying. With my daughter, I got her to sniff all my oils, perfume oils, and she picked out like 8 oils out of those that she really liked. So I made a perfume based on what she'd picked out and worked in everything around that. And that's that other aspect of randomness I was trying to interject into my work. And when you said about like getting into a dark place sometimes or confronting those negative emotions, and I did exactly the same with the perfume, is like if I feel an emotion come, is just work that straight into a perfume, and it's really therapeutic. And one other artist I encountered was a guy called Vincenzo Ramaglia, and he tried to put all of this randomness into his music and try and make it as random as possible. But he would sequence it at the end and try and put it into a format where it became listenable, and it did have some structure. But that resonated with me. And today I'd listened to this song on repeat about 15 times making a perfume. And I made this oil, and I made lots of kind of images from while I was making it, shaking it up to the light and taking photographs quickly while I did it. And lots of images appeared in the liquid. One was a clear eye in the liquid. Just, it looked like an eyeball in this liquid, the way the liquid had just jumped up while I was shaking it.
Wow.
I'd made so many notes while you were talking, but I think...
well, you reminded me of, there's a movie with Jim Carrey called Yes Man, and he gets taken to this seminar by this guy, this old friend of his. I guess they work together, and he takes him to this thing, and it's this guru guy on stage that you're supposed to say yes. Anytime an opportunity is presented to you, you're supposed to say yes. And he's really hesitant. He doesn't want to do it, but he starts doing it. And it's like all of the things that begin to happen in his life just because he said yes to things that he typically would say no to. Some of them really amazing and some of them really bad, but it's the experiences themselves that are the whole point of it, right? It's not as random, but saying yes to things that you would very likely say no to is just opening a door of chance and opportunity that you would typically never take. And it's like an exercise in trying to generate the same types of experiences. And I
Yeah,
was
there's
thinking of
another guy.
something else that you mentioned. Anyway, it slipped my mind. But
One thing that you mentioned about when you kind of generate a piece of art, or you generate something from that kind of unseen and manifest it in a form, like you've done with the book, or I might do with perfume, or like Michael does with his artwork, or like a dancer might just dance an expression, that it sends out a kind of energy to other people. And this was a concept I'm trying to understand at the minute. And I think trying to put the word kind of magic doesn't, it's kind of fits it, but it's just such a wide, varied thing that when we put off this form of expression, it hits other people, and it can either resonate with them or not resonate with them. So that kind of magic, or whatever that force is, can kind of hit a certain point within you, like that song that I'd been making a perfume around hit me in such a way. And I was curious, does that song hit other people in that same way, or why did it hit me in such a big way and cause me to do something else from that? I'm quite interested in that concept of that transference of energy. It shows we have an energy within us. We put it out, and it can be received by others if they're receptive people. And I think that's almost that quantum effect, like synchronicities that happen when you generate something. It can go out and hit somebody else regardless of kind of time.
yeah, definitely. Silver, did you have something?
Yeah, I just wanted to throw in there that the idea that, and I mean, it's a limiting idea. There's definitely going to be people that disagree, but in regards to the Myers-Briggs, there's 4 major personality types, like guardian, artisan, rationalist, and idealist. And if we look at the idealist, that's sort of the mindset we're talking about if we want to manifest something, right? But you could also call that mindset naive. Like you could say that that individual's, you know, always thinking too highly of the situation, or you know, they're not real or down to earth. But what if, like what we're stating is true, that, you know, we ultimately are creating our reality, then it would be best to stay in that state of idealism. So it's just a question I threw out there. I want to see what you guys.
Yeah, I think that blank slate, like me and you had discussed the other day, that when you kind of become that receptive vessel, almost, that things come through you. And that's what I feel like a lot of the time when I get in that flow state, that it's not actually me who's making it. I do like automatic art, and a lot of the perfume's quite automatic. It's not thought out ahead of time.
Well, and think about, you're playing music. You said you were listening to this song on repeat, you know, and you wonder if the music has an impact, right, on the perfume itself. Or, you know, when you're looking at it, taking those pictures, it's not really a cymatic thing, but I would imagine that the same principle would apply, right? That the music would have an impact on the medium that you're working with. And probably also your state of mind and your energy while you're making the perfume is going to have the more profound effect on it as well.
Definitely. And I think this is like why certain music tracks have such a big impact on people. Like the more passion that you put into it, and the more you enter that flow state, and those all around you who help kind of refine that thing, whether it be the producers that you gel with them, they get your idea, you've transferred that idea to them, they resonate with it, and that makes it resonate even further.
The word notes are common in both, right? There's in smell and in sound.
And chords as well, chords and accords.
And both store memory. Like if you smell something, you're immediately drawn to something that you smelled like that before. Like you already know what that smell is, but it can also remind you of a time where you smelled that smell. And it's the same with music. You know, listening to certain types of music, I know it will just immediately make me think of a certain time or a time of year. And if I want that feeling, I just go to that music. It's like it's an amazing thing how music can do that. But it's only for the individual.
Can I just say as well, I've literally just had this a massive synchronicity right now. I've literally just had this moment where before tonight I was playing a song that I haven't heard in years, and it instantly took me back to being 2014 with my girlfriend who I was in love with at the time, carefree, wonderment, watching a show this song was in. And it just took me immediately back there, that I haven't visited that place in such a long time in my memory, and I relived it. The emotions were going through, and I was just sat here really grateful being able to get transformed straight to that time. And here you are now, like literally an hour later, saying that. What a synchronicity. Beautiful.
Welcome to Esoteric Explorers, Adam.
I had a synchronicity today as well. You know, I was saying I was taking photographs of the perfume kind of repeatedly. I must have took about 70 photographs. And me and Silva were talking yesterday about the SS. And SS showed up in my perfume. And the newest perfume I made today as well is called Cecile. And I'd made that long in advance before we were talking. So 2 SSs showed up in my day so far.
And so I just changed, these are the last 2 images that I had, but I wanted to leave them up. The one on the left with the pyramid and the swirling colors, that's one that my wife did. But I just loved how it turned out. Even though I wasn't involved in creating it, you know, I just really liked how it turned out, and it had an impact on me. So I like to keep looking at it, and it just makes me feel a certain way. And then the other one is my latest one that I just finished yesterday, and I had shown it to Silver and Michael before it was complete, and so they got to see it before I put the finishing touches on it. But
It's awesome, man. I love it, and I do want you to read it.
so, swimming in seas of blood inside yourself, nano antennae cover your body. You will save the planet. And when I was kind of in a goofy mood, but I was in this mindset. I had been thinking a lot about, you know, computers and, you know, simulated realities and nano technology and all this stuff that's going on. And, you know, I just was like having this vision in my mind of being able to go inside of my own body and just zoom around my blood vessels and check out, you know, my veins and visit some organs and see what's going on. Like I'm in this little, you know, submersible bubble with all of these nano antennae around, guiding me like I'm an underwater explorer, except I'm going inside.
Osmosis Jones.
Yeah. And, you know, when I was thinking about it, you know, it's like, I'm going to save the planet. The planet is me, right? I am my world. And, you know, how are you going to change your external reality unless you go inside? You got to change yourself from the inside. And so I just, you know, I immediately just thought of my insides, my organ, my heart, right? That's pumping all of this, the blood. And so I wanted to do something to represent, you know, the inside of your body and also blood. So I thought of the heart, right? And then we had an interesting conversation yesterday about Michael was talking about the heart. They can't really figure out how the heart is able to pump blood to all of the extremities. If it was just a pump, it couldn't be able to do that. And so there's like this ionic charge. I don't know, Michael, you can explain it better than me, but it really kind of fit in with this.
I really love what you've done with this, man. It's awesome, and I couldn't have thought of it being any better. I loved it before, but this is even awesomer.
The background was the last hurdle. I had drawn the veins coming out the side like branches of trees, And my mind kept flashing between veins and trees and veins and trees, and how veins look just like trees, but bare.
Mm.
And then I thought, blood vessels, right? I wanted to put some blood vessels in. And so I just started putting little dots on the background, and it began to look like blood vessels just floating around in this plasma. But it also reminded me of leaves just flying off of trees, and scattering.
That's so cool. Yeah, I really like it. And the heart thing was, yeah, so it was a Russian scientist that did the calculations as the heart as a pump, and how it would get blood into like your fingertips and all these areas that have like very, very thin blood vessels. And it was mathematically impossible. So he did a bunch of studies and testing, and found that the way that the heart vortexes your blood creates an ionic charge within the blood. So when it gets to the place where it's meant to go, like the main area, then there's an ionic force that takes over, like this magnetic electric charge that pushes the blood into the extremities. So it's just a really cool thing. It's both like a vortexing ionizing machine and a pump, or not machine, but you know what I mean, like biological process.
There's one little thing I wanted to just ask. As our heart is on the left, but in a lot of old artwork, the spiritual heart's like dead center in the chest. And I wondered just a little bit about that, anybody's kind of experience or knowledge, or if that sparks anything.
Yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about. And I'm not sure. I have to do some thinking on that. You guys have any ideas?
What was that, Alex?
In old artwork, the spiritual heart tends to be shown like dead center in the chest, like our heart's on the left. But this made me think kind of more recently, when I was trying to be really present in my heart, it would be a feeling right in the center of my chest. And I didn't know if it was kind of psychosomatic, but it just got that thought into my mind of old artwork tends to depict, like, say, Jesus or other figures with a heart dead center in the chest, rather than to the left.
Yeah, I was just thinking of those paintings of Christ with the heart, or the flaming heart as well. That's always like right in the center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think that's where the frequency, like when I hum, like in a hypnagogic frequency state between like 100 or 110 hertz, it resonates in the heart chakra in the center area. It doesn't resonate off to the side, it resonates in the center. So I think it's representing a frequency in the heart, a location of like when you resonate that area, it's in the center. So that kind of denotes a location, since sound is in vibrations and electromagnetic function. There's some type of a location there.
Yeah, like perhaps the core of your field, because they've discovered, I forget which university it was, but they said that we definitely have a field and it can be interacted with, and that's perhaps the core of the field.
I think it might be your spine, actually, because that's where the center part of your being, and there's a lot of electromagnetic receptive nature to your back, and if you're in alignment, I guess you're standing tall and straight.
Yeah, I sometimes feel it in the base of my back too. Sometimes it travels from kind of that center in the chest down to the base of the back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's related to the bones. I really notice it when I play violin. I don't use a chin rest. I just put my chin like right on it, and so the vibration goes right through my bones, and so it kind of helps tune you into other sounds that are traveling through your bones and frequencies. Pay attention to it.
I was thinking of the idea that, you know, if you think of the human body as a cross, right? And then, so the center of that cross would be right here in that diaphragm.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to do a little bit of an exercise with everyone. Now might be a good time, because I was gonna say, Erik, we should all do something like a blackout poetry thing, but it might be hard to get everyone the same page in the book and that kind of thing.
Oh,
So
you wanted to
I
do it,
thought,
everyone would get off of the same
yeah,
word.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
You
Maybe
can
we can
do
do that
like
later, but
you can do like a PDF document,
what do you,
and then people can choose their own words off of that.
what we
Right.
could do is well, I could post something in the chat, or else what we could do is everyone just think of a word and don't say it at all right now, and then write it down, and then we can I think there's what, 27 people here. If we all have a word, and it can be any word, write it down, and then we each get each other's words and then put together a poem with those words for next time, and then see the differences in poems with the same words. That's another way we could do it. What do you think, guys? Y'all poets?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Mhm.
Good.
All right.
I like that.
Okay, let's try it out. Write down a word. If you guys got a pen and paper, we'll give you time to go grab something.
Already done it. Popped to mind the second you said it.
Awesome. And it can be any word, and I would like to let you guys know we can add ands and, you know,
I can see everybody.
punctuation.
I can see everybody running around looking for.
Michael,
Mm-hmm.
I just joined. Can you just, I mean, I joined right when you started to explain this, pick a word.
Yeah.
Is it going to
So-
take too long to catch me up? It's
Oh,
okay.
no, not at all. No, it's easy. So we're just going to, Erik had kind of a show and tell of his artwork, and it was Blackout Poetry, where he picked a page of a book, and words that popped out to him, he would underline, and then as he went, it would create this beautiful poem. And we can show that on screen for you if you want, just so you can have a look.
It's okay. Yeah, I can picture it in my
Okay,
mind.
and
Yeah.
then
Thanks.
so we had the idea to maybe do something like this for everyone, but because of we're over Zoom, I thought maybe we should all just pick a word, and then we all share the word that we have picked. And you don't have to pick a word that you can see here, just pick any word on your mind. And we all share these words and we create a poem. It's basically a cut up technique, where we create a poem out of the words, and we can share them next time we come next Thursday.
Thank you.
I've seen that same image again when you popped up the screen share. I've seen the same image again of a track I've been listening to recently, and I don't think I've posted it in the dojo. It was a purple image of
Oh yeah,
black skull.
I wanted to say real quick. These I'm gonna put these images on the DojoEarth website under the Esoteric Journeys page after tonight, so that people can, you know, reference them if they want.
Thank you.
All right. Has everyone got a word? Okay, we're gonna go in line. So if someone doesn't have their pen and paper on them, just let me know. But we'll go in line that I can see on the participants tab here. And so if everyone's ready, everyone got a pen and paper? Okay, perfect. All right, Erik, give us your word.
My word is conflagration.
Conflagration?
Yes.
Could you tell us what that means? I
Yeah.
have no idea.
How to spell it?
It's like it's a fire. So conflagration would be like a roaring fire.
Cool.
Could you
Good
spell
word.
it?
Could you spell
Maybe
it?
spell it, please?
I don't even know if I have it spelled right, but it's CONFLAGRATION.
Okay.
Erik, could you write it in the chat for me, please? My mind is not,
Okay, and then we'll go on to Kristen next.
thank you.
My word is time.
Time.
Time, T-I-M-E. I guess if you want to spell it like the herb, you could, but I was,
With a Y.
yeah, I was thinking of time, you know, the
Awesome.
concept of time. Yeah.
Cool. Thank
In a
you.
certain, yeah.
Let's go over to Alex.
Mine was melancholy.
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 Nancy?
Hi, everybody. I have
Nancy.
elevate.
Elevate.
If everyone would just post it in the comments too, that would be really helpful, right?
yes.
Just
I
everyone just,
type them in while we're going.
and they, yeah, that would be a great idea. Okay, good.
Okay. Yeah, we got all of them now, I think. Okay, let's go over to
Amanda put stars there too. Sorry if
oh,
that's
okay, well yeah.
Oh yeah, she's on mute because
Okay,
she's,
cool.
she's
Okay.
dealing with our.
So we're gonna go add stars, everyone.
Stars.
Stars. That's Amanda's. And next is silver. What's your word, man?
I have anecdote.
How do
Okay.
you spell N?
I have it spelled ANECDOTE, but I don't even know if that's how you spell it.
We also have Starside from Janus Lee here too in chat.
Okay, Janice Lee has star side.
Is that a word?
I don't know, but we're using it.
Okay.
Okay,
How do we
and
spell it?
It is
now we
yeah.
have
How do we
Adam.
spell the last one?
Symphony.
Symphony. And someone can put that in chat too. Adrian?
C, S-E-A.
C.
C was that.
Gotta have the C. Thank you. And let's see who's next here. Amanda?
Amanda did hers, I think, in chat.
Another Amanda, I think. Amanda Cundiff? I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Oh, she's holding it up. Yeah. Acceptance.
Acceptance.
Thank you, Amanda. And Andrea?
Yeah, I don't know if this is a word, but I'm stuck with it. Changeful. CHANGEFL.
Oh, changeful.
1 F or 2 F?
One,
One.
since I'm making it up.
Thank you. There's no rules here, so this is good.
That's right.
Okay, we got Amanda Talbot. Is that right? It's let's see, maybe they've got.
Character from C. Talbot.
Oh yeah, okay, character. Okay, character.
Character.
Matt.
This might sound kind of silly, but the first word I thought of was baloney.
No, that's good.
Baloney.
I like it.
Also, Rachel is here with me, and her first word was ending.
Okay, we add ending and baloney. Okay, and Elizabeth, what's your word?
Joy.
Joy. Beautiful. And Janice Lee already said, did Joe G?
I don't think so.
Tier.
Tier?
Frontier.
Frontier. Nice.
Did we have ending as a word too?
Yes.
Yeah, we have ending, yeah. All right, and then Kristen? Did you already got yours. How did
Mine
you
was
end up-
time.
Yeah, how'd you end up on the bottom of my list now?
I don't know.
Let's count the words.
Mum or Seth there?
Yeah, Seth picked out a word too. He's actually already in his book doing some
Sweet.
words. And it was really interesting. Can I share what he thought about Eric's artwork?
Please.
I mean, he loved the snake. Why don't you share, Seth, honey? No, you tell him. What did you say?
Seth,
Remember?
tell
Can't
us.
remember what you
What's
said.
the word? What's his
The one
word?
with the demon peeking through the flame-ish thing. It's like society going into a normal world.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's
I
cool,
like
bro.
Yeah, thank you.
That's awesome, man.
Perspective, man. That's it.
Does he have a
Excellent.
snake on his shirt?
So his word, yeah, that is well, his word is holy.
Holy.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
thank
holy.
you.
And my word, I actually picked a card. I thought I would pick from a card. And the
Oh,
curse.
that's a great idea.
Oh, that's a good
Curse.
idea.
That curse.
But it's a
Curse.
beautiful
First.
card. The curse.
Ooh.
I know it's a great card.
Okay, Matt. Matt Z. Okay. How about Max? Max? Nope. And Mel. I heard you. I know you're here.
Mine's daydream.
Daydream. All right.
Nice.
Okay, and then Nicholas.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia. Nice.
Tell me if I spell this right. Two L's. Is that right? Two L's for Philadelphia.
I think it's one L. Yeah, it's one.
And Pi.
Sigil.
Oh, nice.
I was just carving one into this.
Oh, really? Cool.
Handle. I got a new hickory handle for my little chopping axe, so I got to.
Could you show us? I was looking at that.
Oh, I just started on it. It's just a, it's nothing special. It's just a new one that I got on sale on a discount because I lost mine in the snow. I started carving it in here. It's only part way done. But
Oh, cool.
I can't see it. Yeah, I'm just carving it in. My little mark there. Kind of like I had a grandfather that used to paint McHugh in Chinese red on every one of his like handles and tools and stuff. And I still have some of those Chinese red painted tools. So kind of a tradition to like put your name on a tool. So when you get it.
I like that.
So yeah, so that's what came to mind. Anyway. Cool, this is pretty cool. I think I'm caught. Am I the last one then? Do I have all the words?
We've got Sarah. Sarah, you there? Okay, we'll go to.
Could I just ask for Lorna? Lorna put the curse, so will we put the curse instead of?
Yeah, is that okay to say the curse, Mike?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Yeah, because the card was the curse.
Okay. So the curse, everyone. And we can add thes and ands and all this too, and punctuation later. So I called on Sarah. I don't think she's here. Sergio?
Came to my mind was dielectric synchronicity for some reason.
That's 2 words, but we'll let you have it. Lorna got the curse too.
Yeah,
I like
with
that.
a little curse, with a little.
Dielectric synchronicity.
Or just electric synchronicity if you want just one word, but I thought it was an oxymoron.
I like it.
Well, so what is it?
It's
Is
in
it
the chat. In the chat there.
Oh, dialectic. Okay, very good. Thanks.
Is it dialectic or
Dielectric. Dielectric. 2 types
Would
of
be-
electricity that synchronize.
So it's
So
not
you-
dialectic.
No,
Totally
dielectric.
totally 2 words.
It's
Dielectric.
Yeah, dielectric synchronicity, and I made it into 1 word. That's like you can make the word what?
No, you're
Electric
good.
synchronicity. Yeah.
Stacy, you there?
Yeah, auspicious.
Auspicious. Okay. And finally, Tyler, what do you got, man?
I want vivacious.
Nice. All right.
You got one more, Michael.
Oh, Ren, are you there? Is that
Yeah.
your voice?
Yeah.
How did I not see you? I think my thing's screwing around on me. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, man.
A receptacle.
All right.
And Erik, I have to say on your snake, I've been reading lately about symbols, and the snake has been a symbol of God and the sun. And it has the sun moving through the skies, and that's really what you have on that sheet. I don't know if you were thinking about that, but
Honestly, I don't know exactly what I was thinking about, but it was definitely something like that. I think we were also talking, Michael, about the snake. Somebody was talking about the snake
circle.
representing something else.
Yeah, the snake and the circle.
yeah, the elliptic.
The 3.
Anyway, cool. I really like it.
So I'm going to pick a card because I like that idea. And this will be the last one. What is it there? Here, let's see. Oh, it is Valor, I believe. All right. Now we got our words.
Is it VALOR or VALOUR?
OUR.
Can you hold that up again?
Yeah,
I put it in chat too. Oh,
For a
sorry.
screenshot?
absolutely. I don't know if it's in
Yeah.
focus there, but
It is now. Thanks. So that goes in it too. That's VA. All right. Valor is a word,
yeah,
is your word. All right.
my word.
Right on. Thanks.
And I wanted to, Andrea had typed in the chat earlier and asked me if I would address how to pick a book and then a page. So I wouldn't even suggest you try to pick any certain type of book. Just let the book kind of speak to you. I mean, if you're looking over a bunch of books, just the color or the title, if it jumps out at you, right, and it speaks to you, then like something in that book is going to speak to you when you do this exercise. So, I would just go by feel. And then we had talked, Michael and I had been talking, I didn't do this, but what you can do is you can like do something like a random number generator to pick a page, right? Or do something that involves randomness in order to decide what page to use, or pick a number and then count that many words and then that many words. You can even do like a Fibonacci type ratio where you like the first word and then like the second word and then whatever works to insert some randomness into the exercise would be really cool to see how that adds to it. But there's no set way to do it. I mean, I start looking at pages. I start in the beginning of the book, and I just start glancing at words and see if words jump out at me. Sometimes a word will jump out at me and then the rest of the page just looks like garbage and I'll just move on. But I'll keep my underlined, and then I can come back to that later and see if something jumps out at me at a later time. Because I would imagine that every page isn't always going to speak to you on that particular day at that particular time. So, yeah. And you said, do you make a copy of that page? What size are these? So I don't make a copy of it. I do it right in the book itself. I usually put something underneath the page to keep the marker from bleeding through. And then I do most of the artwork with the page still in the book. And then when I'm done, I take a box cutter or blade and just cut the page out. And then I photograph it. You can just leave it in the book if you want. I cut them out because I want to do something with them, possibly put them in a frame or something, or figure out some way to incorporate them together. But I hope that answered your questions, Andrea.
Erik, I've just literally picked up a random. Oh, so sorry, Andrea. Carry on.
Go ahead.
I have just picked up a book, and while you've just been talking, listening, but also just picking out words that I just literally this random book I could see. I just want to read out the words that shot out on me. Ready? I can't wait to start this already. Pleasures sculpted, lotus flowers, dragon's love, envious, gods, smallest kingdoms, governments weak, frustration, apathy, military king, building hope. Just in one spot.
That's awesome.
That's awesome, dude.
Seth said, "What book is this?"
Mhm.
And this is from Michael Palin's Himalaya. It's just a travel book.
Cool.
What kind of state of mind are you in right now, Adam?
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I am looking at the I don't know. I'm standing strong where I am in my place, in my integrity, like I spoke earlier in Dojo, and where I want to, the truth and my morals and what I'm willing to stand for, no matter what price or cost. So, yeah, but also watching the sort of current world as we see the Babylon fall and being a part of that as well. So, yeah, I don't know. It's going to tell me a lot more about what I'm
started
feeling
out.
when I carry on. That's my cat's
It started out giving me images of, like meditation and like relax, just sort of like raising your vibration. And then you get into like government and like the stuff that's going on right now, but then at the end there's that hope, right? I love that, man.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. An awesome presentation, Erik. Really enjoyed this. This is ace. I can't wait to do this exercise.
Silver,
Now when you read those words, try to pick out and like get an image in your mind, and then, you know, start to put something on the page, you know, and like just have fun with it.
Yeah, totally. There's what you're doing there, Adam, is something akin to bibliomancy. Have you heard of it?
Can't say I have, no.
It's something that I do a lot because I got a bookshelf, and when I just walk by and if I have a question or if I'm just interested to see what a book says to me, you pick up the book and flip through, point to a word, read that word, flip through, point to another one, and you just kind of do that until you have a sentence. And it's pretty amazing some things that the books say to you.
That's kind of what I did with James True's books, that I never did like post a selfie or anything, because I don't know if I'll ever be able to say that I ever read them, because I read them in bibliomancy fashion, and I would just open up the various books, and then that's how I've read the books from the beginning. So, there was a lot of synchronicity there, so I just kept doing it, and then I just never, I don't know, it never felt right to do a selfie, because it was kind of like I was using it as this kind of synchronicity sigil, you know, and I would open up, various pages, and I continued to do that. But I didn't know it had a word. I didn't know it was bibliomancy, but I guess that's what I was doing. That's how I read the books, bibliomancy fashion.
That's awesome. It adds randomness. Sorry, go ahead.
I think like a lot of us do certain things like this that tune into that kind of energy around us, and it's almost natural. There's a trauma teacher called Peter Levine, and with a couple of other people, he developed some technique they called Feldenkrais, and it was like moving. It was for children or people that had suffered physical trauma, and they'd move their body just in random ways and try and act like children, and it would really help, he said, to release trauma that was trapped in the body. Just an interesting link to that.
Yeah, that's really cool. One of the messages I've got was from a book called We the Arcturians that I probably had it in my bookshelf for like 20 years. And it'd been a long time since I read it, and I didn't remember what it was about it really. And so I picked it up and I asked for like a summation of the book, so I didn't have to read it. And I went around and it said, "We do not recommend another earthly incarnation." And that was it. I was like, wow, okay. Great. Silver, you've had your hand up for a bit here, man. You can jump in.
I just wanted to give another idea that I once used to introduce randomness. Sometimes you might find yourself, like myself, going through different phases where you're more rational and you're pragmatic, and then other times you're like, no, I'm more creative now. This is the right time to do an exercise like this. And sometimes the better way to do that is to sort of ask the question from your life experience, from the world at large. Just say, like subconsciously, the next book that I see, whoever presents it, I'm going to turn to a page, and if the opportunity allows. But now you're sort of asking for a feedback from something external, and you're kind of letting the world demonstrate that to you, instead of going and looking on the bookshelf, because you might have only limited number of books, and your experience might be looking for something. But when the world sort of presents an opportunity for you to look back, that's also another way to do it.
Yeah, that's a great idea. It's pretty, yeah, there's so many things add randomness to your life that
Lori does these, she calls them cards of influence, cards of inspiration. She's been making them for a while. They're like little 11 card sets that have maps on one side and collage like pictures, and then I've been kind of using it like a tarot, like a single card reading. And then for the esoteric, like this has kind of been the one when it's like I get a card, I call it the deep dive card. It's this guy in a diving bell. And then I picked this card yesterday, and then I said, well, I'm going to pick another card today for the esoteric. And then I picked the deep dive card again for the Esoteric Journeys. So I just thought I'd show you that. But then see, it's got different maps, and sometimes I get little synchronicities. I look at the map and then I look at the other, I just do like a single, like every once in a while, like not every day, I'll draw a card, and it seems to be in sync. Like there's some synchronicities that
those are really cool cards.
Yeah, they're different ones. She sells them, she makes them. We have a huge library of like mostly old, like esoteric, ancient culture books that have high quality lithographs, and she makes greeting cards. She just has a real eye for it. She does collage stuff, and we have a huge library of like those types of books, like world, histories of the world and all kinds of stuff like that. There's some interesting books, but anyway, I just thought I'd show you that because it was kind of a synchronicity for tonight that I drew that card again twice in a row.
Yeah, that's really cool. I did want to say too, this part of this group, we want to give you guys the opportunity to share something you do as well. And if you'd be interested in that, please let one of us know, either Alex, Erik, Silver, or myself, and we can have you have like a, even if it's 15 minutes of you explaining, some kind of art that you're interested in or that you do, or, and art can be anything, martial arts are an art. You can have dance as an art. So, just to share that is something beautiful. So
I'm learning a lot from everybody here because everybody's read so much. It's like a lot of my, things that I do is like pretty idiosyncratic, and then you guys are helping me give names and adding all kinds of, like bibliomancy and other words. And it's funny, I've been playing that word game called Boggle with Lori.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that, and so I've been doing a lot of things with words lately. So this is interesting. I don't usually do that, so this is different. This is challenging for me to include words. I don't usually do that as much, so.
I was gonna, sorry.
Something I wanted to try was to do this same thing, but do it with like a book in Spanish or a foreign language that I don't know, and just see what words jump out at me, and then take those words and like translate them and see what it would actually be saying in English. I think that would be an interesting exercise to insert some more random into it.
Absolutely.
As you, and I thought like I have a Quran that I read a lot, and it's Arabic and English, so I could perhaps go through the Arabic and do a little research on the words. But I wanted to say, for Michael, that card of valor, when you showed it, it kind of reminded me of something I drew recently, and it's just like a doodle that got out of hand, but it has those kind of straight lines down the middle, and then those 3 lines coming out.
Yeah, absolutely.
From each corner, like the valor card that you showed.
Yeah,
I wanted to bring up, I don't know if anyone's played it. I wouldn't recommend it. It's not like the best game, but there's this game called Cards Against Humanity.
I've heard of it.
There's a way to play it where if you don't have enough players, you add a person who's a random hand. And so there's this random selection every time, and you're supposed to guess who did it. Well, you'd be surprised how many times the random card seems more probable than what the other people were picking. So it's as though there's this like entity in the room almost. And yeah, it's kind of the same type of thing. Rando has a surprising amount of intelligence for being random.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I like the idea of getting the conscious mind out of the way, and it's kind of this process of discovery. It's really
Do you
cool.
reckon that's what the Ouija board is? Do you reckon the Ouija board could be the manifestation of the subconscious manifested
say.
through?
I was totally thinking about the Ouija board. That's what I thought he was going to say, Adam. That's funny.
Same with things.
That's when Lori and I were playing Boggle, she got the word Satan. And then she started winning. And, you know, she just made a joke. And I'm like, quit Ouija boarding me. But then it did, like, because we played that a long time ago and we lost our set. We got this like master Boggle, you know, that has like an extra row. And it just, it took on this numerology aspect, like with our scores, you know. Sometimes there's these weird relationships and Fibonacci, you know, it's like, it's made it a lot more interesting game. I used to think it was kind of stupid game, and she would beg me to play it. And I was like, I don't want to, you know, I don't, it's like about the only game I'll play of those types of games. But now it's actually kind of cool because it's taken on this weird, you know, I don't know, is it the thing that makes Ouija boards work? There's some type of a, you know, thing that either I didn't notice it before or it's taken on some new aspect because of our focus on it or something.
That's really cool. I've had that experience before, and for me, it's like it happens when I'm just paying more attention to the thing. You know, you're adding another layer of meaning, another level of meaning to what you're doing, and it can be super fun because there's a lot of synchronicity that happens there just by paying attention.
I also feel like you're going to get the results that you're expecting a lot of times. Like if your mindset going into a Ouija board is one of, you know, frightened curiosity, like a lot of kids get into that stuff and their heads have been filled with these stories of demons possessing them and stuff. And that belief, right. And that electricity is going into, you know, the results that they're going to find are going to frighten them, right? They're going to be scary. Whereas if your mindset with the Ouija board is like, I want to use this as a tool to investigate my unconscious mind or whatever it is, then, you know, it's going to work more towards that end. And so I think it's about the mindset that you have going into it is really going to impact the results that you get out of it.
Going into a Ouija board, doing shadow work, and wow, what a complete twist on that. Imagine, has anyone done that? You know, actually focusing on your own subconscious rather than spirits in another world. Wow, that's a really cool, fresh perspective on that.
Mm-hmm.
Lorna, would you like to say something? We're kind of all just jumping in, so you don't have to put your hand up. And Andrea, you can just jump in after too.
Okay, I just
kind of
thought
free forming the last 10 minutes here.
Yeah, I was just trying to be respectful because, yeah, trying to do the whole mod dojo thing. Seth's doing really good. He's working on his projects right now, and he's already done a couple. So this is really cool. Anyway, I was just going to chime in with, I have this necklace that I have, and sometimes I give it a direction of yes and no and maybe. So basically you kind of take your necklace, put it over your hand, and yes is this way, no is that way, and then this is maybe. And it's so kind of crazy. Sometimes I don't even want to ask it a question because I'm actually afraid of the answer. So it's kind of like a Ouija board, but you can do it with, so basically I have a certain necklace that I totally love. And then you just hold it and you just ask a question, but you have to designate what is yes, what is no, what is maybe. And, you know, it's just amazing what comes out of it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share.
Yeah, that's cool. You stumbled onto pendulum work. That's a whole thing. Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Good.
Yeah, but some people have it so they hold it and you want to steady your elbow, and then you hold it really still as you can, and wait until it goes clockwise or counterclockwise. Those are the main ones, and if it doesn't go in a circle at all, there's the maybe. That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, that's it,
But
Mike. Sorry. Yeah.
but
'cause
no,
it's-
no, you could do it whatever way you want, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
all about what works for you.
Yeah. It's totally.
Exactly.
I have this rose quartz pendulum that I've tried using, and the way I ended up doing it was if it would either go back and forth or in a circle, and then I would have one way be yes or no, but I never really had a maybe. I don't really know how to do it, but it was Lori's mom's, and her mom used to like try to do like witchcraft with it or something. So I try not to use it all the time, but you know, it's an old, you know, rose quartz pendulum thing. I forgot where I put it, but that's how I did it. I'll have to try it with a, how did you say it was the maybe? If it just sits there, was this kind of a maybe?
Michael, yeah, there's a couple different ways it can go. So you can go counterclockwise, clockwise, or still, right? Michael, you were talking about, but I would go, yes, a certain way, no, another way, and then a circle would be maybe. So it's basically whatever you embody on that crystal. So you would come up with the rules. So you come up with your own, right, Michael? Is that?
Yeah, you give it the programming.
Okay.
It was actually one of my customers. This lady, she'd sent me loads of old essential oils, and every one of them she did this similar method with, of holding some chain above it. She told me briefly, and I don't remember what it was, but she'd rated every single oil that she sent me on a certain scale. So I got the impression that there was actually some kind of science behind it, that some people had measured the value of different oils through this.
There is a technique that's used, and it's has to do with how many times it goes in a circle, with the energy that it has, and then you can do breathing. Actually, a lot of people do it to see how much energy they have at a certain moment, and they'll just be holding it, and they either count the seconds that it spirals in one direction, or else they count the revolutions, so how many times it goes around, and then when it stops, that's your number. And you can do this for like percentages, or people have all different sorts of methods. But Andrea, I know you had your hand up, and I want to let you talk.
Yeah,
there.
just I had two quick things. Pi, I wanted to say it was so nice seeing Lori today on camera briefly.
Oh, yeah, I'll have to tell her. She was just walking by to her room where she has like a little room where she does her artwork and stuff. But
Well, no, you speak of her so often. It was really nice to see her today. So I've been thinking about her after Dojo.
yeah, I don't know why she's so shy about stuff, but you know, maybe someday she'll join up on the dojo or something. And
I get it.
Friendly. There's no reason for her to, you know, she's not like particularly shy. I don't know, but I don't. She cares for everybody, though. You know, I mean, we talk about the dojo and things that my experiences. You know, it really enriches our relationship quite a bit. So it's almost like she's kind of like this. I don't know, just off to the side, you know, like someday she'll become part of the tribe, or like she's in some type of a peripheral place, or I don't know. I don't really know. I'll have to ask her now that we brought it up.
Tell her I was asking after her. So.
Yeah. Okay.
And I also wanted to ask whoever, I'm keep asking questions about the project, because I'll do anything not to do this. So if the hardest step is the first step. So with these words, we're writing a poem.
You can do anything you want with them, but I would suggest a poem is the easiest. I'm probably going to write these all on a piece of paper and make a painting. So I'm going to probably do it that way. There's no real rules, but I would like to see a piece of art with these aspects in it. It could be a poem, could be you just drawing the words out in a cool way that make an image. Yeah, right. Cool.
Piece of art.
That's awesome, Pi. Yeah, so run with it and just do what feels right. Like add some randomness let's do that.
Thank you.
We are at 5:30. I don't know how everyone feels. If you guys want to hang out for a bit longer, we've got Adam and Silver. Actually, you know what? Let's just, if you guys want to, is it quick or do you guys want to keep going for a bit? How's
But
everyone?
I was just going to say, for me, I think that practice of the pendulum swinging from necklaces called dowsing, from what I've been exposed to. Is it actually a practice called dowsing, or is that separate? I don't know. But it made me think about the people back in the day who used to look for water or oil with.
There's dowsing rods, and then there's a pendulum, which I think is also called dowsing. So I think you're right, Adam.
And are they dowsing for water and oil? Back in the day when we were looking for, digging for oil and things like that.
That's when they take two metal rods and you walk with them. When they come together is where you decide to dig your well. My grandpa actually did that on his land.
Do you know what? It makes me think he must have had such a connection to the land, being the living soil. And that's what that is, the subconscious, like the Ouija board, like
right.
The random, that's just his connection. He is the earth, and he's just, channeling through, and how good you are is how strong your connection is to the earth.
They also use witch hazel to make dowsing rods.
Oh, wow.
I was going to ask if anyone knows where to get that, surprisingly. Witch hazel branch, like a branch of a witch hazel tree.
You just need to find a wild one that's not on somebody's property and just cut a branch off.
I don't think they're in the West Coast, but maybe I'm wrong.
They might not be. I mean, mostly they're in the Midwest or the East Coast.
I was going to ask you guys regarding Michael and Alex yesterday, we were talking about potentially working to get a 5 sense based experience going on, blending together smell, sound, even maybe an experience where we could put them all together. And I think that to introduce that idea would be good because we can start to find.
Absolutely. Sorry, go ahead, Alex.
Yeah, me and Sean were talking about this yesterday, and it really interested me, this concept that all these different sensory experiences have a power to kind of affect us in different ways. And if you manage to combine all of those together, the idea came to me, it might be a bit like the Enochian keys. And Enoch was one of the early prophets, and in Islam he's called Idris, and he was the first one to get the pen. So the language was given to Adam initially, but to Idris, Enoch, it was given the ability to write it down. So there was a language that had a power to it, which seems to be like Aramaic and Hebrew are descendants of that language, and eventually Arabic too. But yeah, it made me connect that with like perhaps this Enochian keys or Enochian language was a word that had such an impact to it. And I just thought possibly combining 5 senses together in art pieces may have a much bigger impact and get that message or energy through it that transcends words. And when we're looking at that randomness, kind of incorporating that into something that has pure feeling or pure energy in it. But just the idea that I was tossing around in my mind, it might be completely batshit crazy.
Well, just like the light spectrum, though, there's the sound spectrum, and many people have tried to align them all together. I think that we could try and go the next step and say, if you're really good with smell, I mean, essentially, you could pick a green or a something that would be give you the idea of that smell, and then someone else could apply a sound or a melody that represents that tonal structure and that key, and then another person would pick a dance or a rhythmic kind of or maybe a breathing exercise, just something to use to sense all the 5 senses.
I've recently got into like editing software a lot, and today I bought a studio mic and I was recording just random sounds around me to incorporate into a music piece, and just kind of make music structured entirely from like day-to-day things around me. pots and pans and the washing machine and all sorts of stuff. But it'd be cool. I could collect sound samples from people and make something with that.
No, that's a great idea.
have you
But
ever
guys,
tried
I gotta
to do it?
close it. I gotta close it out because we're over already. But if you guys want to come back and chat, then we can do it that way.
I really have to dash. It's all like
Do
half
ya?
one here in the
Okay.
morning.
Well, Pi, since you started, finish this off.
Oh, I was just wondering if anybody, Mellifluence, I was just wondering, have you ever heard of anybody doing a Dr. Emoto type thing with smell, like exposing a medium to smell and then freezing it and seeing like good smells and bad smells and see if it affects the structure of like water? Or I'm just curious if there's
Yeah, I haven't heard of anything like that, Pi.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's something I'm very into smell, and I do a lot of research, and I've never heard of something like that. But it'd be very interesting, and every single scent has a effect on the mind. Like rosemary, when you smell it, there's medical documents saying that rosemary helps increase memory just from the smell of it alone. Like lavender has like instant calming effects on the mind, and labdanum and marjoram. So they all have like impacts on certain points in the body too. Like jasmine contains a thing called jasmones, and when we die we secrete jasmones, and that's found in the jasmine plant too. So we share some aromatic chemistry with the plants.
I might try that sometime, because I'm out in the fields, like in lavender fields, rows sometimes, and it'd be nice to have a geometric form that I could meditate on while I was out there weeding and stuff. I was just curious, since you're into, if you'd run across that.
Well, guys, I'm gonna close her out, but thanks for being here. And great to see all of you. And I'm excited to see what you got with your little art project for next week. I'm stoked to put something together myself. So I'm just excited about this. Oh, look at Seth's
Really
already
cool.
got something going on.
Oh, that's cool stuff.
Cool. Well,
This was
guys,
awesome. Thank you
thanks
so
so much for being here. And Adam, thanks for being here so late. I know it's late for you and Alex as well.
Worth it. Worth it.
It is, yeah. I've enjoyed today.
And
Hey.
a huge thanks to Erik for bringing this.
Thanks very
Great
much,
work,
Erik.
man.
Erik, that was amazing.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
All right, let's close her out.
Everybody have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, my love. Good night,
Bye.
you.